Every country on Earth is in debt. The United States alone owes over $38 trillion, the highest in its history. Japan carries nearly $9 trillion. The European Union hovers around $14 trillion. Even oil-rich nations like Saudi Arabia or economic powerhouses like Germany and China owe enormous sums. But here's the paradox: if everyone owes money, who is actually being paid back? This is not just numbers, it's the architecture of our modern world. Every war, every crisis, every boom and bust sits atop an invisible scaffolding of debt. And if you follow the chain of creditors far enough, a chilling truth emerges. The world doesn't owe money to any single country. It owes it to itself. Yet not everyone benefits equally. Taxes, pensions, savings, and investments are all tied into this massive loop, where wealth flows upward and risk trickles downward. To understand this, we need to go back centuries. Long before credit cards or digital transfers, the concept of national debt was born, not in Wall Street, but in war. In 1694, England was at war with France and running out of gold to fund its campaigns. The crown had a choice: give up or borrow. The king turned to wealthy merchants for help. In exchange for a permanent stream of interest payments backed by future taxes, these merchants financed the state. To manage this new system, the Bank of England was created. It was revolutionary. For the first time, the government could spend money it did not yet have, and lenders received something priceless: a promise that could be traded, bought, or sold. This was the birth of government bonds, the seeds of the modern financial system. France copied it. The Netherlands refined it. The newly independent United States adopted the same system to fund its revolution and later its westward expansion. National debt became a symbol of credibility rather than failure. The ability to borrow was the ability to govern. Empires no longer needed mountains of gold. They needed trust. Fast forward 3 centuries, and debt has become the world's dominant export. The United States owes $38 trillion. Japan over $9 trillion. Every 100 days, global borrowing increases by roughly $1 trillion. But here's the nuance. Most of this debt is not owed to foreign governments. Out of the $38 trillion U.S. debt, about half is held by domestic investors. American banks, pension funds, mutual funds, insurance companies, and the Federal Reserve. The remaining third is foreign: Japan, China, the UK, Luxembourg, Belgium. When people say America is in debt to China, that's only partially true, roughly 2% of total debt. Most of the debt is owed to America itself. It's a circular system. Citizens pay taxes that fund interest on bonds. These interest payments then flow back into retirement accounts, insurance funds, and domestic investments. This loop is not accidental. It is designed for stability. And this circularity isn't just American. Japan lends to the U.S. through treasuries. The U.S. lends to Europe through the IMF. Europe lends to developing nations via the World Bank. Developing nations, in turn, lend back to advanced economies by parking foreign reserves in Western bonds. It's like a planetary game of hot potato, but the potato is made of promises. Every country holds someone else's IOU. Every promise is secured by another promise. Behind every government bond are massive networks of institutions: hedge funds, pension funds, sovereign wealth funds, and central banks managing tens of trillions in assets. These institutions are the true arbiters of credit. They decide which nations can borrow cheaply and which will pay a premium to survive. When confidence falters, currencies collapse, governments fall, and economies can be restructured overnight. Central banks don't just manage debt, they manufacture it. Every time the Federal Reserve or European Central Bank buys government bonds, it creates new money. A liability on one balance sheet becomes an asset on another. Every dollar in circulation carries an invisible IOU. This is why governments never truly pay off debt. The system depends on perpetual refinancing. But what happens when trust collapses? Greece 2010. Bond yields spiked, investors panicked, and austerity measures hit ordinary citizens hard. Argentina, repeated defaults. Debt became a national curse. Sri Lanka 2022. Fuel shortages and political collapse followed when the government could not service loans. When the system breaks, the creditors become visible. IMF, rating agencies, anonymous bondholders who hold entire nations by the throat. Yet even after collapse, the same logic restarts. Old debts are refinanced, new loans issued, and the machine resets with a new name on the balance sheet. In the 21st century, debt isn't meant to be repaid. It's meant to be rolled over. Governments operate like a subscription service. New bonds pay off old ones. Interest is the product. The global economy depends on it, like a shark that must keep swimming to breathe. If Washington suddenly decided to pay down all debt, the world would lose its most trusted financial instrument. Banks, funds, pensions, all would collapse. The economy itself would freeze. Instead, governments issue more debt, not recklessly, but rhythmically. Debt is the heartbeat of capitalism, pulsing through every pension, mortgage, and market. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Interest payments do not flow evenly. They flow upward, from taxpayers and workers to institutions and investors. Debt is both a transfer between nations and a transfer between classes. Global indebtedness and inequality rise together. Creditors are not villains. Debtors are not victims. They are two sides of the same engine. The problem emerges when the engine runs out of fuel, when new borrowing cannot keep pace with old promises. At the top of the global financial pyramid, there's no single face to blame. It's not China, Wall Street, or the IMF alone. It's all of them. And us. The modern financial system has turned debt itself into money. Governments issue it, banks multiply it, investors trade it, citizens rely on it. Debt once meant bondage. Today it means balance. But if confidence ever collapses, the illusion ends, and we remember what debt really is. A promise that cannot last forever. If this video gave you a new perspective, hit subscribe. History has the answers, and I'll show you where to look.